Doc, come on. Just give it to me straight, all right?
I'm not sure you're prepared for this diagnosis.
I'm ready. Just go on.
To be quite frank, I haven't seen anything like this in my entire medical career.
What's it called?
We have a code 666.
Mother, man.
Welcome back. I got another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder to discuss with you. So this video will be less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or it's free. Okay. So hang on for a true crime white knuckle trip with me today. I'm wearing a band shirt, or not a band shirt, I should say. It is a Painted Wraith shirt. They got some new designs. This one's really cool. It's got Jason and Michael Myers on it, Leatherface and Ghostface. So if you like that kind of stuff, go check out their new designs. You can get mugs or whatever you want. Mike Stoltz is doing some really great artwork, and they're doing prints and shirts and different things with that. So go check it out. I'll link to it in the description. Now, I'm sure most of you following the case of the Idaho 4 have struggled with Dylan and Bethany and the 8-hour delay in calling 911. I mean, we've talked about it a lot on this channel, and for good reason. You know, when I first heard about that part of this case, it immediately drew my attention. Anyone who follows true crime, especially as many years and different cases that I have covered, you know, you could smell the rot right away. Now, why wait to call 911 to possibly save one of your or 4 of your so-called friends? I mean, with friends like that, right? Who needs enemies? To any normal person, that's just simply not believable. I mean, once you start peeling back layers of this onion with the Idaho 4, noticeably the sharp smell of rot fills the room, and there you have it. You got Idaho 4. All right. Maybe we should convert that story to potatoes instead of onions, being that it's in Idaho, but I'm just saying. Now, I've covered quite a bit about Dylan Mortonson. She's taken the most heat, and I wonder why. You know, the PCA, in my opinion, throws her under the bus by making her the lone eyewitness, and I believe she was forced into that role for some reason. I firmly believe that Dylan came up with the story about how drunk she was, and that she was just too wasted to know anything that had happened. But for some reason, they wanted the eyewitness. They wanted to cinch that deal. And I think that's why they were insistent upon it. So maybe Dylan is a co-defendant. You know, that's entirely possible if she was involved in some way. You know, even if it was just as the person on the inside to keep everybody, you know, informed on the outside what was going on, and you know, assure there wouldn't be any surprises. That sort of thing. Something that was said in the multiple interviews that she did with the Moscow police, the Idaho State Police, and probably the FBI. Something was said, something or things, you know, that she put herself into the spotlight as the named eyewitness, knowing full well the public would scour her life for information. And, you know, we all crave that stuff. And it's what makes us true crime junkies, I guess. Now, I know a lot less about Bethany. I do know she was 19, same as Dylan, when the crimes occurred. So these two would have been, you know, the new kids on the block, and could have possibly brought with them some scum like Emma and Demetrius, among others. Maybe the other, you know, Maddie and them didn't like those people, you know. Now, this could have caused a major rift in the house. Let's say the rumors of someone like Maddie dumping product down the toilet are true. And that would put a major target on the heads of all involved. And is that what Maddie told Adam? That was a good question, but, that she dumped their product down the toilet and wanted to get out of the game. Because once you're in that game, it's very difficult to get out of the game, okay? Now, I also believe that an explanation of why it took 8 hours for 911 to get called is that it didn't take that long. What if they called 911 right away? 5 o'clock in the morning, right after the crimes happened, or maybe directly contacted any of the local cops that were in on this deal. That may seem more believable. If there were 1 or 2 involved in what was going on at King Road, like on a day-to-day basis, if you get my drift, then maybe they were their contacts, so they didn't have to go through the official 911. And the police were there early. I firmly believe that. I think they would have needed the dirty cops to help them clean up and come up with a believable story. But unfortunately for them, they bought their story from Wish instead of from me, because they went to the bargain bin and got this ridiculous story that makes 0 sense. Now, if I had come up with it, I bet we wouldn't be talking about this today. Just saying, allegedly. Now, I also wonder what the reason was to keep Bethany out of the PCA. She seems to get a pass. Why is that? I have a gut feeling she's working with law enforcement in some capacity, maybe as a confidential informant or undercover. Though she's very young looking, even if her age is not really 19. I'm doubting it. But it's possible. It's possible, of course. There has to be a reason why they picked Dylan over her to fall on the sword. Maybe Bethany's got more family and influence and money than Dylan does. Don't know. I mean, I guess as long as they end up not being charged for anything, I guess who cares who's fallen on the sword, because if they're both going to get a pass and they're going to be looked at as victims and not put on camera and all that nonsense, then who knows? They may just not care about that and just know at the end they're not going to prison or getting put in front of a firing squad. But I wonder, though, whoever set this whole thing up, did they intentionally leave the latent shoe print outside Dylan's bedroom door? I mean, it seems odd they cleaned up that well and missed that one thing. Just seems odd to me, especially outside of her door. So, I mean, was that to place her right where they needed her? Bethany was on the phone to her father at 8 a.m., so she was in on that quick. Dylan, though, didn't call hers until like 11:30. I mean, as far as we know. Now, if police were called and assessed the situation and directed them to clean things up, then it would make more sense that there were no sirens on the 911 call. They already knew what was going on. Why light up the sirens on a Sunday morning? Now, the cops could have guided them through what to say to 911. But my guess is whatever hack wrote the story out for them to follow also wrote the script for the 911 call, because it's so bad, it's almost funny. I mean, I could tell they're reading the lines off a sheet of paper that's getting passed around with the phone. That's why the speaker, whoever the speaker is, a couple different ones, mess up when they say words like me instead of they, because whoever wrote it may have intended someone else to read that line. That's just how it comes off to me. Now, if they called Hunter around 4:30 a.m. and got him involved, then I think he probably knew who to call in the Moscow PD. And then they'd have enough time to clean things up so it didn't look like Dylan or Bethany walked around the house and all that mess with footprints going all over the place. The cleanup was to cover their tracks and then go with this ludicrous story of, she's passed out on the floor at 11:56 a.m. But this plan had its flaws, and we're starting to see it now as more and more stuff comes out to change Dylan and Bethany from being dazed and confused to social media mavens, texting, messaging, snapping pics, deleting pics, editing the others, checking on employment prospects, and adding contacts into their phones. Remarkable. I try to remember that looks can be deceiving. And just because they're 19, I still see Bethany and Dylan as having some involvement here. Allegedly, of course. It's just speculation, but I can't wait to hear some of the evidence in this case once the trial begins. Wow, I can't even wait. Now, Judge Hippler made it a point to call Dylan and Bethany victims. And because of that, they're going to have special seating for them. They're not going to allow them to be on video. I obviously don't agree with it. I'm sure you don't either. But it would be a great way to end the trial by seeing them put in handcuffs along with whoever did these heinous crimes and throw the damn keys away. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this one. So drop a comment below. It helps the channel grow and gets the video out there to more people. If you like reading dark and creepy stuff, check out PeteAltieri.com. That's my writing website. I've got samples at a bookstore you can purchase my books there. You can also get Murder Metal Mayhem merchandise there. Big thanks to all the members in the Horns High Club. Your support is very much appreciated. I'm working on getting the first live set up for the month of June. So be on the lookout. It'll be that first week in June. We'll do a members only live. But I appreciate all you guys that watch these videos to the end. I do. Don't miss my next live, which is going to be on a Friday, this Friday, May 23rd at 8 p.m. Central. I'm doing it that way because I can't do it over the weekend. I got other plans going on with Memorial Day, and I'm going to do it on the Friday night instead. Okay? So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and comment below, and I'll see you next time.